Quilty is brought to you by Baby Lock Sewing and Long Arm Machines. Baby Lock, for the love of sewing. Aurifil. Aurifil Italian thread, perfectly suited for all your quilting projects. Fairfield. Together, we can make beautiful things. Free Spirit. A new generation of creative and playful fabrics perfect for fashions, home decor, quilting, crafting, and more. Hovels Sewing. Cut it close with Hovels. Moda. Make something quilty with Moda fabrics. Thermoweb. Manufacturer of heat and bond adhesives and new luxe interfacings, proudly made in the USA. Hey, Mom.
Hi, Mir.
How's it going?
It's great to be in Chicago.
I love it when you're on the show.
I know.
It's like when you're on the show, I don't know, it kind of feels like it's a snow day.
Yeah, like
on
home.
Quilty.
Like
Yeah.
we're home.
Yeah. Because it's like I know that no matter what happens, it's going to be great because you are you and you're a legend.
Oh, get out of here. Don't really get out of here.
No, I have to stay.
This pillow is so cute.
It is so cute.
Yeah, this is going to be in Quilty, right?
That's right. It's going to be in Quilty, and the pattern will be there. So make sure to check out the magazine for it. And the reason that it's so cute, the fabrics are great, and the size is perfect, but those hexagons.
Yes, and I'm so happy that Quilty readers, that you're providing Quilty readers with a very, very old technique.
That's right.
English paper piecing.
That's right. We're going to do English paper piecing hexagons today, and hexagons are they all the rage. Yeah. But it ain't new.
It ain't new.
There ain't nothing new about them.
Yeah. It's different from paper piecing, foundation paper piecing. So be sure you know that English paper piecing is a whole different thing.
Question: Why do we need to use? Well, I know you don't need to do something one way. There's a million ways to do different things, but why do we? Whenever I see hexagons being made, it's always English paper piecing. This is how you do hexagons. Why?
It's the traditional way, and the reason is it works.
Oh, well, there you go.
That's the reason, and I don't tell people there's one way to do anything, but this way I've tried, it works if you want to do a different way. And, hexagons also wind up in Grandmother's Flower Garden, one of the most present patterns in America. And they usually pieced it by hand back in the 30s when it was Depression. Women had sewing machines, but they did it by hand for therapy.
With this English paper piecing method?
Yes, the same method called mosaic in England. But people have proved that you can do it by machine. I don't see the point in revving up a machine to sew, a half an inch, although we're working a little bit bigger. But you can do it that way if you want. Do it however you want.
And you did it
traditional.
Oh,
I did. Yes,
I
did
it for a magazine.
I did it for a magazine. Well, I made this quilt long ago. It's one of my favorite quilts ever. And it was on the cover of this British magazine. My friend Christine Porter was an editor at that magazine.
Oh, so you had an in.
Well, kind of, I guess.
So the quilt must not be that great.
But it's an English style.
Oh, wait a minute.
It's an English style frame quilt.
It's amazing.
Yes, and it's really neat. And you can see there are these hexagon rosettes, and you can see the 4 here in these corners and 4 more. So you can see I got it out of my system rather quickly, this hand technique.
These are star blocks, not hexagon rosettes.
Yes, right.
So you were like, that's good.
So there is that hand, there's a one in the middle, so there's 9 of them. And I mean, that's what they did in those old quilts from the 19th century, early 19th century.
Well, it's very cool. And this hexagon show that we're doing, we're going to have 2 different parts. The 2 parts really work together. Today we're going to talk about how to make your hexagons, and then on the next portion of the show, we're going to talk about the whip stitch.
How to join them.
How you join these hexagons, and you'll get kind of a close-up look at what a whip stitch is.
Yeah,
okay?
a hand stitch.
Let's make some of these.
Okay, and let's show. So here, I wasn't sure what size was used in the pillow because I hadn't seen it till today, and I think I came pretty close.
I think you did it.
But so here are these rosettes, and the way you make a continuous pattern like the pillow is by joining them, and you join them by hand. And you can see that doing it by hand is a lot easier than trying to do that by machine.
Absolutely.
So help yourself if you want to do it by machine. So to begin with, you need hexagons, and you can make them a lot of ways. I wanted a template. So where's my little
Here it
cardboard?
is.
Okay. So to make this template, this is the way I did it. Like I said, there's lots of ways. There's a tool that we have at Fons Porter that is for half hexagons and hexagons. You can use it to cut loads of these on strips, and the instructions are right on the tool. It's a great tool. It's for many sizes. But I just kind of cheated since it's in my toolbox. Cheating is not exactly what I did, but I mean, I just used it to get an accurate hexagon rather than drafting it using geometry and so forth. Yuck. So I just used a size that I thought would be great for this demonstration. I made myself a cardboard template. There's other ways to do it. Okay. So for every hexagon in this, here comes the therapeutic part, or if you don't like this therapy, you can call it the tedious part.
Right.
But you need a little piece of paper, and I think we got a couple of loose ones over there. Doesn't matter. Is you need one of these little freezer paper templates to sew for each one of your hexagons. Okay.
That you are sewing into the paper.
You'll see, yeah, and you'll see. And so because you need a lot of them, I like to use freezer paper. And so I stacked up some, wax-backed freezer paper. I put staples in there to hold the layers, but you can actually just press it together.
So you did layers
3
because you're
layers.
doing a bunch at a time.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So I just use my little template, to cut those out, to mark those.
You need a piece of paper for every hexagon you're going to make.
Right,
Okay?
right.
Great.
And then we're not going to do it here, but, I then use my rotary cutter.
Okay.
And when you do that, it's a great way. If your blade is getting kind of dull, use your blade on that, then put a new blade in.
There you go. That's cool.
So I just made a little sample like this. I'm going to put on the safety glove, and I press this because it's wax back. You can press this to your paper and then just peel it off.
Cool.
I'm not going to peel it off now. And so what I did was I used this little ruler because it was handy, and I have a lot of rulers in my toolkit.
Yes, you do.
Yes, and so I just cut this out.
You organize them very well too. She has like a slot. It's almost like a dish rack. Is it a dish rack?
Well, no, it's actually made for your tools and rulers.
There you go. Maybe we can get that in the shop.
Get that on quilty.com. They're great. Husbands of quilters make them in their workshops.
Yes.
The workshops where they have saws that cost as much as our sewing
Yeah,
machines.
exactly. So don't let anybody tell you can't have a new power tool toy in your sewing room because, if there's a bass fishing boat in your life.
Yeah, you're set.
Yeah.
So you just, you cut those out, and that gives you your seam allowance.
Cool.
So do we have time for me to show how I prepare this?
Okay. Definitely.
So I'm going to take this to the iron because what we're going to do is we're going to sew around, we're going to sew this, bend this over. And sew it down. But to help me get started, and see the edge of that freezer paper is what helps you. See how I can just iron?
Yeah.
And the fabric feels that edge of freezer paper and bends right on it. So I do every other one. This is just to kind of get it started, okay? And then I have a needle and thread, and I use, black. I would always use a thread that, not my best thread, because it's going to come out eventually. And so I'm just folding that along that edge, and then I just sew in. This is great, if you're watching sports and you're not crazy about sports, you're watching with your significant other, your friend, your husband, you can put a bunch of these in your lap and just while away the time, or you're listening to something on the radio.
Sure.
I like TED Talks, and I listen to TED Talks.
Cool.
So I just, and let me show again, when you come to the corner, you fold one down, get right down here, and then the other. So you fold that one down, you fold that one down. I mean, it's fun to do this kind of thing because you can't really do it wrong.
Right, and it's just one of those moments where in your quilt making process that you can take it with you. Go to the doctor, go to the dentist, waiting for your kid at school, whatever. You can take a whole bunch of these with you, like knitting or something.
Or maybe your baby's taking a nap in the bed and you want to sit there in the room, and instead of reading, you just do something, and it's very calming.
I want a baby. Yeah, I really want a baby.
Just so you can do hexagons.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to see you next time.
On that note.
We'll see you next time on the show. This is kind of a two-parter. We're going to talk about whip stitching. We're going to start joining hexagons together, okay?
Exactly.
Mom, you're brilliant.
Aw, it's so good to be here.
I do want a baby. Bye. Quilty is brought to you by Baby Lock Sewing and Long Arm Machines. Baby Lock, for the love of sewing. Aurifil Italian thread, perfectly suited for all your quilting projects. Fairfield, together we can make beautiful things. Free Spirit, a new generation of creative and playful fabrics perfect for fashions, home decor, quilting, crafting, and more. Hovels Sewing, cut it close with Hovels. Moda, make something quilty with Moda fabrics. Thermoweb, manufacturer of heat and bond adhesives and new luxe interfacings, proudly made in the USA.